Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a really good week so far. I'm here with my cream contouring how-to tutorial. I decided to make this a talk through so that I can actually communicate with you why I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing. I figured it would just be easiest. So yeah, I am going to be using two drugstore products to cream contour, but I'm also going to be referring back to my CoverFX contour kit because I do really like this kit, but I just find that these are a little easier to contour with. They're a little more beginner friendly, so I'm going to use these for the actual demo, but I will tell you guys which shades I use in this kit as well. For the sake of time, I'm going to speed through applying my foundation with a beauty blender really fast because you guys have seen me apply foundation, nothing's going to change. All that's going to happen is that I'm going to apply a sheer layer, which is why I'm going to be using a beauty blender as opposed to a brush. So anyway, that was my NARS Tinted Moisturizer. Also, I cut my hair. I donated 9 inches to the Pantene Beautiful Links organization, I guess, and I have never looked back since I cut my hair. I absolutely love my new short hair because my hair was getting very long. It came to about my hips, and I was like, we're done here. I need to cut it off, so I donated it. And yeah, I love short hair. It's not short, it comes about right here, but for me, that's really short because I've always had long hair basically my whole life. So it was a very good change. I'm so glad I made it. I love how it takes literally 5 seconds to wash my hair now. So yeah, love the new short hair. But anyway, I applied my NARS Tinted Moisturizer as my foundation, and now I'm gonna move on to the actual cream contouring. You do have to use a liquid foundation as opposed to a powder foundation because you never ever want to work liquid or creams on top of powders, because if you drag a liquid on top of a powder, the powder is going to break up underneath and everything's going to look splotchy and muddy. It's just not going to be good. So now all I'm going to do is conceal any discoloration or blemishes that I have on my face. I'm using my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and I'm almost out. I need to open up my backup. So now we're gonna move on to the actual contouring part. So I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Shine Free and Balance Foundation in the color 330 Toffee. They're technically foundation sticks, but I'm calling it my contour stick because it's great for what it does. Because it's like a stick form, you can really go in and carve out whatever you want in a cute little stick, and you don't need to use brushes or anything to actually apply the contour itself. Okay, so where was I? I went downstairs really fast to placate my dogs, so they have been placated. Hopefully they won't bark anymore. But anyway, I'm gonna be using this. Oh, I'm out of breath. If I were to be using the CoverFX kit, I would definitely be using this one right here, shade. I think it's called number 3. Yeah, number 3. It's not the darkest one, it's the second to darkest one. Because the darker one I generally use just to go like right in the hollows of my cheeks and carve out my contour, like really, really carve it out after I have. Do you hear that? Today is like the worst day to film. What am I doing? So basically what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take my stick and suck in my cheeks, and you can see right here the natural line of where my cheekbone is. I really want to go the extra mile and like really carve out these babies. I do a cream contour because I feel like cream contouring looks really natural, which is silly because you have so many products layered on your face, but I do find that it looks a little more natural than powder contour. But anyway, I'm totally rambling. All I'm gonna do is suck in my cheeks and draw a line. And it doesn't have to be a big line, and it doesn't have to be a long line. Generally, I only do this much because then when I blend it out, I can drag the product forward. Some people draw it all the way here. I choose to stop mine right here because I find that it's easiest to blend out. So now I have 2 lines on my face in about the same position. If I did this right, I think I did. And then I'm also going to take this and apply it along my hairline. I feel like I don't have a huge forehead, so I don't really contour my forehead. I just do this to add depth and to bring more warmth to this forehead area. Otherwise it looks kind of weird that I have a contour on my cheek but then I have nothing on my forehead. So I do add a bit of a shadow up here. If you feel like you have a large forehead or you want to like bring your hairline down, you do want to draw like a line here, and then even if you want, you can draw lines coming downward, but not in this area. This area you're going to want to keep blank because we're going to highlight there, but for this you want to add a shadow. I will also add a shadow right here, kind of in this dip right here in my hairline because I find that when I go in and I highlight my cheekbones, adding the shadow right here really brings the highlight forward because of the contrast between the shadow here and then the light that I'm bringing here. So that's just a little tip if you want to do that. I'm also going to contour my jawline by just drawing a line right there underneath. And I will also contour right here. And doing this really sculpts out your jawline and gives you that like really defined sharp jaw that looks really nice in photography. But yeah, this is all I'm gonna contour. I personally choose to not contour my nose with like a dark shade. I will sort of contour it with like a lighter color, but I don't do it with a darker one just because I don't want to. So I'm gonna set this down for now and I'm going to grab a blending brush. This is a Real Techniques buffing brush. I'm gonna spray it with a teeny bit of Fix Plus just to get the brush a little bit damp, and I'm gonna do this on the back of my hand to get the bristles nice and evenly wet. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start blending this into my skin. What I like to do is initially blend backwards and upwards. I know that's really specific, but the reason why I do that is because when you blend backwards and upwards, you're not dragging a ton of product forward, because sometimes you can end up where you have a lot of product concentrated right here and like none right here, and you're like, how did this happen? And that's because you blended forward instead of backwards. So I'm just gonna blend backwards and upwards. The reason why you want to blend upwards is because, as you can see, when you're doing this blending, if you were to blend it downwards, it defeats the purpose because you want to lift the face and elongate the cheekbones. And if you blend it downward, you're defeating the purpose. So I'm gonna continue blending. And as there's less product on my face, I will just rub it in. I'm gonna respray my brush. And then I will just go ahead and blend in all these other lines. These are pretty easy to blend. The hardest part is definitely blending out your cheekbone contour. With the jaw contour, you want to drag the line towards your neck because you want this part right here to be the sharpest. Okay, so everything is blended. I don't have any harsh lines anywhere. I do want to deepen my cheekbone contour. Why does this look blotchy? Ah! Okay, I do want to deepen my cheekbone contour just a teeny bit, so I'm gonna add a little more right here. And then I will just go right back in and blend upward. I have blended enough towards the corners of my mouth to kind of, you know, sculpt my cheekbones that way, but I do want to make this a little bit darker right here, so I'm going to blend upwards and backwards. Oh yeah, that's how I like it. Okay, so now the contouring part is done. We're going to put the stick away. In the Cover FX kit, if I wanted to deepen my contour, I would go in with this number 4 shade right here. So I would initially lay the contour down with this color and then use this one just to deepen up the hollows of my cheekbones. So now we're gonna highlight. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, and I have mine in the color Neutralizer. It's not a color, I don't think, but I use it as a color, so whatever. And now what we're gonna do is we're going to highlight the face. So the point of contouring was to recede features and to add shadows. Now what this is gonna do is bring forward features, because right now, I guess my face looks okay, but I feel like there's something missing. There's not enough definition to my face. So this really ties everything together. This is what makes cream contouring feel whole, if you know what I mean. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna add it underneath my eyes in a triangle shape. This is really a great step to lift the face. And I like bringing mine all the way back because adding this light here just really brings my cheekbones forward, and I love the way that it looks. I am personally all about my cheekbones because I really like my natural cheekbones. So I take these steps to bring forward my natural cheekbones. If you have cheekbones that you don't really like, you can totally contour it to alter them, but for me, I don't do corrective contouring, I just contour to enhance my natural features. Contouring is a very personal thing, so totally whatever steps I'm doing right now, you don't have to do at all. I'm just showing you guys how I cream contour, and I'm trying to give you pointers along the way on how you can kind of alter these steps to make it more personalized to your face. So I did add some light here to my forehead because I kind of have a small-ish forehead. Like my forehead isn't gigantic, so I feel like I don't want to contour it or highlight it too heavily. If you have a really large forehead though, you probably don't want to do this step. You want to keep it right here between your eyebrows. And then I'm also going to draw a line down my nose. This is the extent of the contouring of my nose that I do. I just highlight right down the center to bring it forward. I'm also going to highlight my cupid's bow. And I will also highlight my chin just a little bit. If you don't like your chin and you don't want to bring attention to it, you don't want to highlight it. Basically, the point with highlighting is you're highlighting the features that you want to bring forward and accentuate. And I'm also going to highlight right underneath of my contour, and I will bring this line pretty forward, and I'm going to draw little downward strokes. This step right here, highlighting underneath your contour, is a really great way to fix any mistakes that you made. Like maybe you placed your contour too low and you're like, great, now my face looks weird because my contour is bringing my face down. You can put a line of lightness right here and it'll correct your mistake essentially. So now I'm just going to use my damp beauty blender and blend all these lines out. Notice how I'm not pushing the product around. I'm just dabbing it into my skin because I don't want to move the lines, because we put in all this hard work to putting in these lines on our faces. We don't want to like move the product around. Ah! I'm just dropping stuff all the time. Okay, so we have effectively contoured our entire faces. Now, I am going to, whoops, again, dropping stuff the time. I'm gonna go in with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer just to conceal my under eye circles, because the Maybelline one isn't pigmented enough to cover up the circles. So I'm just gonna go in with a touch of this right here and then blend it out immediately with my beauty blender. And now I'm gonna immediately go in and set my under eyes with my MAC Studio Sculpt defining powder. I crease really badly, which is alarming because I am not that old, but I do crease under my eyes, so I'm gonna set this with a powder. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my entire face. If you have extremely dry skin, this is probably not a good idea for you, but my skin has been cooperating lately and it's been less dry, so I feel comfortable doing this step. If you have super oily skin, I totally recommend the Laura Mercier translucent powder. This stuff is fantastic for oil control, but I'm going to be using the Hourglass ambient lighting powder in the shade Dim Light to set my entire face. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin my brush in it, and then I'm just gonna lightly powder my face. This powder has a really pretty finish. It's like, it's beautiful. You're definitely not gonna be able to see it on camera, but in person, it has honestly the most beautiful finish ever. I absolutely love this stuff. And you may be wondering, why did you just set your face if you don't have problems with oil? The reason why I did that is because I'm going to go in and set everything, or not set everything, but I'm gonna go in and add like blush and highlight and bronzer. So putting down a layer of a translucent powder all over your face kind of enables the product to glide on a lot smoother, because like I said, products work best when they're layered on top of similar products. So liquid over liquid and powder over powder. Here we had a liquid base, but I set it with a powder so that now when I go in with a powder, blush, highlight, and contour, sorry, not contour, bronzer, everything will just glide on super smooth. Okay, so now for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusions shade 30M. My like lettering on the back totally rubbed off, but I know it's 30M. So I'm just going to add this to the perimeter of my face to warm up my complexion, because my face has been defined, but I feel like I need a little bit of warmth in my skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this bronzer just to add a little more warmth to the skin. And this bronzer is absolutely incredible, one of my all-time faves. And then I'm just gonna go over with the same brush that I used to set my entire face. I'm just gonna go over those areas just to blend out any lines or cover up any splotchiness. But I don't really have any splotchiness because I set with a powder before I applied the bronzer. So now we're done with like the cream contouring part. Like we finished a while ago, like after all the creams went on. I did want to say one thing is that when you cream contour, the reason why I do the contour first and then the highlight is because you don't want to set anything before you finish your cream contouring. So I know that I have to set my under eyes right after I do it. So I wait to do that until the very last step, because the last thing that I want to do is set my under eyes and then go in with the cream, and then as I'm blending it out, it's catching on the powder. I don't want that to happen, so I do everything in like reverse order. So I do all the creams and then I do the powders. So now, since you're here and you're my captive audience, I guess I'll just finish off my face. I'm gonna apply blush. I think I'm gonna do Becca's Nightingale blush. And I'm gonna apply this with my Morphe M405 brush. This stuff is so pigmented. I always get so scared when I apply Becca blushes, because I'm like, great, I'm about to overdo it. I know I am. So I really have to be careful with this, and just with such a light hand. Like, that was such a light hand, and it's just pigment for days. And now I'm gonna go in with the same brush and just blend it out. And now for highlight, I'm gonna go in with none other than my beloved Opal highlight by Becca. I stopped using this for a while because I was really into Champagne Pop, but I love Opal just the same. So I'm gonna be using my Morphe M501 brush to put this on my cheekbones and some other areas. I will let you know which ones. So I'm applying it to the very high points of my cheekbones to bring more attention to them and to give that really beautiful glow. This is different from highlighting with the concealer, because when you highlight with the concealer, this is a matte concealer and you are bringing features forward, but this is like the last step. This is like the icing on the cupcake. This is what you use to really define the features that you really want to enhance. So for me, that's my cheekbones. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on my cheekbones, and I'm not applying that much. I say that now, but I know I'm about to pile a lot on. I'm also gonna apply this above the arches of my eyebrows. I love doing this step because it gives such a beautiful cohesive look, because you can see there's like a C shape going on here, and then this just adds a little bit of continuity, and it brings the eyebrows up and it makes the brows look more arched. And also, if you think about it, that is somewhere where the sun naturally hits your face. So I'm not saying it looks natural, but I'm saying if humans were to be born with Becca Opal skin, this would be how it looks. I will also apply this to my cupid's bow. This just makes the lips look a little bit fuller. And I will also apply just a tiny little dab to the very tip of my nose. Some people hate a nose highlight. I like a nose highlight right here, but it's easy to go overboard, so you really have to be careful. Okay, so our highlight is done using Becca Opal. So now the final step for me is to set my face. And normally I would use Urban Decay Chill or All Nighter setting spray, but recently I've been using my MAC Fix Plus just to spray the sides of my face, and I really, really love the way that it kind of softens the powdery effect of the highlight, but it still makes it look super duper bright. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Woo! I don't spray the center of my face because I want to keep the center of my face pretty matte and then only have the glow be on the sides of my face. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna finish off my lower lash line and my lips, so I'll be right. Okay, so this makeup look is, I'm like so used to saying, okay, this makeup look is complete, thank you for watching, but this wasn't a makeup look, this was a cream contouring tutorial. So rewind, let's try that again. That completes this how-to tutorial for cream contouring. I hope you guys enjoyed and you found it informative. Let me know if you want to do any more how-to tutorial type demos for other makeup techniques. I'd be more than happy to do those for you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, I hope you have a wonderful week and I'll see you soon. Bye.